All right, and we're back for another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and Inside Sports Fantasy Football. We truly appreciate you following all of our great shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, including our friends at ThriveFantasy. You can support us with your first deposit at ThriveFantasy, which is the leader in daily fantasy player prop sports betting for the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, the PGA, and esports by dropping in the code LFB on your first deposit, and they'll match it dollar for dollar up to $50 as long as your first deposit is at least $20 or more. And you can go ahead and check that out today on ThriveFantasy.com or the Thrive Fantasy app on your mobile phone. I wanted to go ahead before we get into today's game and make a couple announcements, 3 announcements per se. First off, I wanted to go ahead and send our best wishes and our condolences and also our thoughts and prayers with a fellow Lakers podcaster. His name is Big Baby Jonathan Soffel. I've actually been on his show. He's been on this show before. Unfortunately, his father recently passed away, and I wanted to go ahead and just say to him out there, we're with you, man. I've been sending best wishes to you on social media. So our thoughts and prayers from all of us here at the Lakers Fast Break are with you. I know you're a huge supporter of the Los Angeles Lakers. You've even gotten shout outs from James Worthy, and also I saw not too long ago you had a conversation with Dwight Howard over the air on, I think it was on Instagram or whatnot. But again, I truly am saddened for your loss and wish you and your family all the best. Our deepest condolences from all of us at the Lakers Fast Break. Number 2, if you get a chance, check out our latest episode of the Lakers Fast Break on the Lakers Fast Break podcast channel, which is me and Raphael giving you an update on what's going on around the NBA. Talked about a whole bunch of NBA teams, what's going on with them, good and bad. Also, as well, possible James Harden destinations. We talked NBA draft prospects. Plus, how are the rookies doing this year here in the NBA? So we covered a whole bunch of things in regards to the NBA on the Lakers Fast Break. So hopefully you get to check that out wherever you get your podcasts. And number 3, we went on the air actually before the games yesterday took place. So we didn't get to make mention of the homage and the respects that were made in regards to just again all the players that were out there in several games yesterday and including today taking respects for not only what's going on as far as the Capitol, but obviously as well the most and dearest thing as well is what's going on with Black Lives Matter and also the fight against racial injustice. In regards to the decision that was made, the wrong decision, in my opinion, in regards to the non-continuing litigation against those responsible for the shooting of Jacob Blake. So the players at several games took note of that and actually went on one knee, or even right after tip-off in one of the games, I think it was the Bucks game, if I'm not mistaken, that they also took a knee right after tip-off. So I wanted to go ahead and pay our homage and respects to that as well. I want to give everyone an update on that. So hopefully you'll understand a little bit more about what's going on because of that. And then, like I said, it's just been a crazy time, crazy 24 hours going on. A lot of things going down, not only at the Capitol, but in Wisconsin as well. But there was a game that was played today, and unfortunately it was played by the Lakers and the Spurs. For Lakers fans, it was a tough deal today because the Lakers didn't come out on top. The defense was just not there today. It's like beating a dead horse with all these teams. They're not playing out on the perimeter. They're not guarding the 3 very well. And for most of the games, the Spurs had it at or above 50% for the 3-point line. And they ran away from the Lakers in the end, 118-109. And here today to talk about the game, first off, he was first up here. So firsties, he's got firsties. It is the man behind Lakerholics.com. You got to go ahead and check him out today at Lakerholics.com. It is Laker Tom. And Laker Tom, I want you to go ahead and if you want to talk who gets game balls, whoever you want to, whatever fashion you want to talk about, because this is your airtime. But I do want to say that the Lakers, unfortunately, on the defensive end, truly disappointed today. So, some reason you're not coming on clear. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. You usually got that booming voice of yours, and I got you unplugged right now. So, but you're not on your Magic Man. Are you available? Magic Man, are you there? I heard you popping a can. Hope that was a can of brewski for me. I hope you're not going to become an alcoholic because of what happened in the game. There you go, Laker Tom. I heard you fumbling around. Okay, there you go. Once again, it was 118 to 109. A truly disappointing defensive effort. Not too bad on the offensive end, but defensively, it just didn't get it done. But Laker Tom, your thoughts? Well, you saw it. I mean, they had the coverage there. Full National Guard was already deployed. They're all there. Yeah. And and what was also disappointing, I wanted to say, was that totally under the radar, except that was recognized by the NBA players, but seemingly under the radar to everybody else because of what was going on in the Capitol, was the unfortunate decision by Wisconsin. I think it was the Attorney General who would not continue pursuing litigation against the officer who shot Jacob Blake in the back several times, seven, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Didn't seem like it this time. He got an early callback in the first quarter. Well, I'll tell you what, I noticed that he got an early callback because they got behind big early. and they just could never make up the difference on that. So it was truly disappointing. But I wanted to ask you now, who I've got here, Mr. Magic Man. Indeed, it is Sean Grice. So please follow what he's doing at Lakerholics.com as well. But Sean, it's just a situation where it's very disappointing to see the effort guarding out at the 3 point line. I have been harping on this, and it's not just the Lakers. If it was just the Lakers, I would say it's just the Lakers. It seems to be so many teams right now are not believing that the other team can hit from the 3 point area. No, 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 no. But not if you let them. You can if you take their spirit away right quick, they'll fade. And just because the young teams do that, once you get them way behind, they'll wilt and they don't have that power to come back. But if you give them room to go ahead at 10, 12 points or within just basically a short run away, and in this case, the Lakers, they never got to any closer than 2 points, I think, was the closest that they got to. They did tie the game. Okay, they did tie the game. So, yeah. The, Well, it's also like you said about the rotations, which you have remarked before. Rotations have to be there in order to guard at the 3 point line. That's all I heard on radio the first half. I'm and this is something and this is something. Well, hold on, Sean. Let me just say this. And you and I had a slight disagreement that you thought, or I thought that the four veteran players have trade value of some type right now in Mills, Gay, Aldridge, and DeRozan as far as veterans. Yeah, yeah, and Mills has been hot continuously for the past week. It is, and I don't want to put too much into it. Well, I'm just saying if that they play anywhere near this level, those four, and they're at 500 or maybe just even a little tick below, they got to ask themselves as an organization, do we want to be in that 7 to 10 range, or do we want to just take a step back now, trade our assets that we have out there for some late first, early seconds with all these guys, except for DeRozan. I mean, it all depends on where they're at during, when it comes close to the trade deadline. Maybe they'll have a different perspective. But yeah, I mean, with all the well that they played against the Clippers and the Lakers, they're still only 4-4. So that tells you right there that it's an up and down series for them so far this season. And yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. You listened to the podcast, didn't you? Listen to that ESPN podcast, I think, earlier today. I okay. Yeah, it was the Hoop Collective, I think it was. I want to give a proper thing, but yeah, I heard that it was yeah for yeah. So, anyways, but well, Sean, let me ask you this, and let me ask you this, Sean, because I'm gonna hit you up with this question. Because we've said before in the NBA, it's always hard to beat the same team three times or four times in the same season. In this case, it's going to be three times. So I ask you, Yeah, in 9 days. So it looks like right now it's very hard right now for an NBA team, even as good as the Lakers, to beat the same NBA team 3 times within that short period of time. But again, and that's the case, and that's with all of their individuals that they have there. I seriously think if it comes down to it at trade deadline, they might want to reevaluate that situation if they're in that 8, 9, 10 slot and say to themselves, what can we really do in one of the best draft classes for some time, which is this year coming up. So I think that's something that they might have to reevaluate. I mean, I was just on, like I said, on our previous podcast with Raphael, and he's noticing the depth that this class has and the number of individuals that can actually not only improve a team but can be good rotation players, very good rotation players. And then obviously the superstars that are at the top, like everybody's salivating over Cade Cunningham and the abilities that this man has, and Evan Mobley. And Suggs, Jalen Suggs is just tearing up right now for Gonzaga. I mean, these players are just beyond what we saw in the previous drafts. So we're seeing that type of mentality that, you know what, if we're not going to be able to go ahead and compete, you might see the Minnesotas, you might see the New Yorks, you might see, well, New Yorks are playing well right now, so I shouldn't say that much, but you might see the Torontos, who's been a strong league team for now. That's very surprising. So you see all these teams at the bottom end of the scale, and you might say to yourself, you know what, maybe we should go ahead and maybe unofficially tank. But Sean, you're in Toronto and you see your Tampa Bay Raptors that are out there that are not exactly doing so well. But your thoughts right now. Go ahead, my friend. Yeah, but you won a championship 2 years ago. You know, yeah, this is true. Yes, look at the bright side. Well, I think that's offset by the what 2,000 fans that they might have their max right now for these home games. So I think that gets offset. Oh, when you win the championship is what? That is true. That's true. But go ahead, Laker Tom. I know Magic Man. You got the shush down there. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it. He's on my fantasy team. So yeah, tell me about it. He's not going to be involved. Go ahead, John. That is correct. Well, but I don't think again they don't have enough assets for a Harden trade because Siakam is not performing anywhere near the level that he once was. Had he, then that would be a different story. But I don't see them pulling off that type of trade for Harden at this point in time. So Toronto might be looking at reevaluating things, especially if they can't keep Masai. That's something that they're going to have to deal with going forward. But for the Lakers, today's game was kind of disappointing, obviously from a defensive standpoint, and of course, if they continue that type of free throw shooting, I thought they had fixed themselves on that. I thought they were doing a lot better to start off the season. Free throw shooting was an issue last season during the season, especially LeBron not being anywhere near what he needs to be simply because of the fact he gets to the line so often. But 60% from the line is not going to get it done, and 33.3% from the three-point area is not going to get it done. Those are numbers that you saw quite frequently last year, which were kind of disappointing. But the Lakers defense would always come and save the day. Not so this time. So I think Laker Tom, it just sends that message that, hey, we need to go ahead and reevaluate how we go ahead and focus on our defense. I know that's tough. And I know I'm not going to be able to go ahead and say, you know what, the Lakers need to go around and have that mindset because last year it was easy. They had a full summer, they had a full training camp, and they had the mindset of playing defense. AD encouraging LeBron, LeBron encouraging AD from the get go. So that's why it was so easy to go ahead and get into a defensive mindset. It's going to have to turn around eventually as far as on the defense. I'm not going to say it's going to be overnight. Tomorrow, if they have issues with Chicago, I might become a little bit concerned, but I don't think so. I think they're going to come out like a very angry Lakers team, and I think they shouldn't have an issue. And AD, I want to send this message out to AD. Well, hold on, Laker Tom. I want to send this message out to AD. Laker Tom is going to drop that stat every single podcast until you change it around, AD. So that message is for you. But yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead. He was close to 85 last year, just to give people a perspective. Yep. Well, let me ask you this again. We could be around here all day on what the Lakers did wrong, but I want to give you guys a silver lining, and we'll leave the fans out there here tonight on a silver lining, and that was the Lakers bench play. Outside of Wesley Matthews, you had to be encouraged, Laker Tom, with not only THT, who did very well. I don't want to say defensively, but obviously was a nice spark plug offensively, and a returning Alex Caruso who seemed like he was just he almost cartwheeled. You can see him almost cartwheeling into the game. He was so happy to be back on the court once again. It went back up to 11. But you know what I mean. Absolutely. Yeah, well done job by Popovich and Becky Hammond and the whole team there. They deserve a lot of credit. They got everybody up. They got the young guys playing well, and then they had the veterans carrying the day, and that's what they need to do. Again, they're going to have their ups and downs because they're relying so much on their youth when it all comes down to it, and we'll see what happens with their season going forward. But for the Lakers, had a chance to pull out today with the NBA's best record. It's going to be waiting for another day, but it shouldn't be too long before I expect them fully to come back strong against Chicago. And if they go ahead and by the time they hopefully finish that back to back off well with Houston, they could find themselves back on top of the NBA once again. But before we head on out, guys, I want to go ahead and pitch Lakerholics.com. I know Laker Tom, you're doing a lot of stuff there, but first, Magic Maya. Oh, actually, first because the bell tolls. For whom the bell tolls right now for Sean Magic Man. I do want to ask you right now. You're doing a lot of great stuff for the Lakerholics.com site. So go ahead, spill the beans. What's up with you and Lakerholics.com? And that's with Jokic leading the league in assists for a center. I don't. When was the last time it was done? Was that Wilt? Was the last time that was done? Yeah, because I know he did it just to prove a point. I know he did it just to prove a point. So this. Go ahead, Sean. Well, oh, go ahead. Well, again, I don't want to get it. I don't want to go too much into a political type thing because we could go. If we got CNN money, absolutely, you can go ahead and I'll start that right now. You can just call me Wolf Blitzer. But unfortunately, right now, it is just a very sad and disappointing time, and how the events unfolded yesterday was very disappointing for me. as an individual to see that type of stuff. And as a father who has to explain this to his kids, it was just truly disheartening to see. But the most, thing that went under the radar was again the issue in Wisconsin with Jacob Blake, and the fact that they're not going to press charges or look at trying to go ahead and seek some sort of justice for Jacob Blake is truly disappointing. And I respect wholeheartedly what the NBA players did in response to that. But by the events, what happened yesterday, it totally went under the radar. And the message, I think, got dampened because of it. And I hope people will understand why the players did what they did yesterday if they tuned in. And if they didn't, they should be aware of that simply because of the fact that there was some injustice done yesterday in Wisconsin, not just in the capital, but in Wisconsin. And we've got to do something hopefully in the near future to fix things like that going forward. And I'll just leave it at that. Again, this is going to turn into CNN. I don't want to do that, but Laker Tom, I know, and I appreciate your sentiments as well, Laker Tom, and also you as well, Sean, Magic Man, in regards to those things that we were talking about. But before we head on out, Laker Tom, you've got a great medium.com site, which I don't give enough love to, which I'm trying to remember and give more love to because you get a lot of traffic there. And also as well, of course, Lakerholics.com. It was so funny. I went there the other day to go look at it, and I saw Laker Tom, Laker Tom, Laker Tom, Laker Tom, Laker Tom, right there for you. So he lied to me in a way because he told me I don't really have much in the offering, Gerald. I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago. You told me I don't really have much in the offering. You lied to me, man. You lied. And I say that jokingly. I say that in all good spirits, by the way, everybody else. Tell me about it. Or sometimes you change them around. You get lucky enough, you could change forever. Oh gosh, you should see my Pop Culture Cosmos site. Oh yeah, agreed. And they wanted you to come down to get close and personal, correct? Yes, but you know what? I'm going to be, like I said, on. I turned a new leaf. I'm trying to be a little bit more of that. chocolate milk like Mitt Romney drinks, that chocolate milk like I drink, and I've got a ton of it in my refrigerator. That chocolate milk is going up higher. It's going up higher. You haven't noticed that I've been a little bit more positive about the Lakers, even when there's a little bit downtime. Like I said, that they should blow out the Bulls tomorrow and take out all the aggression on them. I mean, again, they're just what a game away from being overall the best team in the NBA record-wise. And with Philadelphia going and losing to Brooklyn today, which didn't have their top two players in KD and Kyrie Irving, which is an inexcusable outing for Philadelphia after they've been playing so well. And then on top of that are now sequestered because Seth Curry tested positive and was sitting on the bench for the first half. So no, they're now all doing contract tracing, so the team could be out of the week. So that's going to throw. Yeah, exactly. So it now looks like we could have a very different schedule here in the next few days. But go ahead, Sean. I know you wanted to leave us on a good note. Yes, yes, he will. My gosh, that's pocket change for LeBron. Don't even get me started. And you got to remember, Space Jam 2 hasn't even come out yet, so that's later on the horizon. That's a more pocket change for him right there. Yeah. So, yes, absolutely. Cobra Kai came out on Netflix and has been rocking the world out there, so you got to go ahead and catch that as well. Even if you're not a Karate Kid fan, which I wasn't, but I've enjoyed all three seasons, so I'll give you a little bit of heads up there. So hopefully you'll catch that on Netflix. That's my pop culture thing before I drop on out. But I will say this, we will be back tomorrow after the game. We're all going to be smiles. Well, that's if Sean doesn't get chewed out for being a little too loud. Smiles. Smiles. Because the Lakers will come back tomorrow with a victory. I'm sure of it. I'm being positive. That chocolate milk is more than half full this time. So they're going to go ahead and come back strong against Chicago tomorrow, and we'll be back post game. And hopefully you will be too. We appreciate again all your support and listening, and follow the Lakerholics.com crew. You know what? You can even join our Facebook group. Lakerholics is right there for you. Just type in Lakerholics and it comes right up. We'll let you right in. You'll go ahead. You'll be part of the mix. Somebody left a comment tonight on the Lakerholics Facebook group. Laker Tom, you want to take a look at it? It's in regards to the uniforms. I don't know if you saw that already, but it was a nice comment on the uniforms. So I think you'll probably hopefully respond to that. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and join us at Lakerholics.com or Lakerholics on Facebook, please go ahead and do so. But also as well, you want to go ahead and check us out, including our great episode with Raphael where we covered the entire NBA, the NBA draft. Yeah, it was really good because we covered a whole spectrum, not only teams, but the latest what's going on with the rookies, who's doing well, who's not doing well, the upcoming NBA draft, his early beat on that. It was nice to get a little bit of in-depth insight from the man himself because he's always so great. He brings it every single time. It is Raphael Barlow from NBA Draft Junkies, so hopefully you get a chance to check that out. But again, we will be back tomorrow with all smiles as the chocolate milk rises up, rises up, rises up to a full glass. I will tell you what, if they win tomorrow, which they should, I will go ahead on the air and drink a full glass of chocolate milk right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. We truly appreciate it. Bye bye, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.